What's up, everybody? We are in Shady Hills, Florida. A magazine called Wall Street 24/7, which, by the way, sounds okay. Whatever. A magazine called Wall Street 24/7 made it an article about the 50 worst places to live in the United States, and very low on that list of the worst places to live, it included this neighborhood, Shady Hills, Florida. I'm gonna give you guys a drive around of this neighborhood so you guys can understand how wrong this magazine is. Now, this is not a shed, this is a pigeon racing loft. Pigeon racing is a very expensive sport. A sport that with less than $20,000 a year, you're not gonna be able to manage it here, because they fly very competitively, that sport here. So according to this this website, this is, I think it was like number 10 or something like that. Anyways, it was one of the 50 worst places to live in America. I want to show you guys how wrong this magazine is, or newspaper, whatever. And they also plagiarized my work, because the places that they used were mostly an identical copy of the list that I've made in the past to a large extent. So I want to show you guys how wrong these people are with this list of worst places to live in the United States. Clearly, this neighborhood doesn't deserve that title. There's a beautiful home, 3 pigeon lofts, brick pavers, beautiful car in the garage. It's a really nice neighborhood. These online lists that they make are so wrong that it angers me. That's why we made this channel. One of the reasons we made this channel was how upset I was at the amount of misinformation that is being put into the internet and by these magazines and people. Look at this, the house here. They have an antique American car. These are large properties. There's no overcrowding. The incomes are low here, but the people that are moving here retired, so they don't need to have income. They retired and they already have money. They're probably not moving their money as much. That's why they're not showing income in this area. But anyways, how could this be in the top 50 worst places to live in the United States? Look at this community. You give me the nastiest house in this community, and I'd take it over my house in Naples, hands down.
Definitely.
Look at this place. How is this among the 50 worst places to live in the United States? It's preposterous. It's ridiculous. Blasphemy. Come on, people. And these are the people that I compete against when it comes to audience. No true traffic. So let's just back up out of here. I want to show you guys this house they're building here. Let's see if when I back up you guys can see it. I don't know how they draw up these websites and how they come up. Look at the size of the house they're building on a hill. In fact, there's a song on the radio. House on the hill with some acres. That's it right there, guys. Look at that. It's like a 5 acre, at least 5 acres or something. Anyways, it doesn't take much to figure out that this town doesn't belong on that list. Statistics is what a lot of the metrics that they use are statistics. Statistics mean absolutely nothing when there's other things to consider. If you look at things black and white statistically, you're gonna make some horrible decisions in your life. Look at this house. They have a $100,000 camper, 3 sheds, looks like a pigeon coop or a chicken coop. They got a pool company, so they have a pool. Yeah, they got a pool behind that house. You're gonna tell me that that belongs in the 50 worst places to live in this country? Come on, man. Most of these houses have pools, by the way. Pools are not a necessity, they're a luxury. If your house has a pool, it's a luxury. Well, anyways, I just wanted to give this neighborhood a little bit of dignity. It's a beautiful place, and unfortunately this magazine that published that information just made a huge mistake. Just misinformation, basically. Look at this house, that's beautiful. Look at the size of that garage. Look at this one right here, guys. They're beautiful properties. It's just horrible publicity for this town, for somebody to say that. I'll be honest about the bad things about this area. It's a country area. There's not a lot to do, but you know, if you got some acreage, you should be able to enjoy your property enough to where you shouldn't have to go out that much. You got a house with a lot of land, a pool, a garage, a camper. You don't really need to be doing all that much in town. Some people like the peace and tranquility of living out here. You know, if you don't like going into town, you pretty much don't have to. Right here we got 2 pigeon racing coops, 3 actually. 3 really nice pigeon racing coops. I'm into the pigeon racing sport, and I have a lot of friends that live here, so when I saw Shady Hills on that list, I was like, nah, man, I gotta get over there and show you guys what this neighborhood's really like, because it's unfair to this community to be labeled that way. There's about 100 people who race pigeons live in this community. Most of them are retired. Some are from New York, some are from Wisconsin, some are from Miami, Puerto Rico. Lots of good people. In fact, my friend from New York lives in this little area back here. He's got a bird feed company. Look at these pigeon coops. I've interviewed this guy here. I've interviewed the person that lives there. I've interviewed them before. Yeah, he wants you to know that since he arrived here, since he arrived in this club, that he has, not only because of your bird racing, but because of your personality and your way of being,
Bird racing, you know what I always tell people?
Yes,
Once
sir.
upon a time, not anymore now.
Well, he said he wants me to know he appreciates you, and since he arrived here, he considers you among the most respected fanciers here. There may be, but
I always tell everybody he's my teacher.
yeah, he says maybe.
Everybody at the club that he's my teacher.
He says there may be better pigeon flyers, but I don't think there's a better person.
Better pigeon flyers. We are holding on now. For instance, my 4 children all happen to like pigeons. They grew up with pigeons, and they grew up with pigeons where they were positive. One of the things I used to do when my kids were little, when I would go training, 1 child went with me from little on, only 1. That bonding that took place in those days was tremendous. My kids can all handle pigeons. My kids will, you know, they're grown people now, they're 50 years old, okay? They are all four of them in high potent jobs, I mean big jobs. Pigeons are not part of their life, although they still call the weekend, Dad, how did it go? They were part of it. They did all the clocking at my house. They were an integral part. Yeah, that's the birds.
The 185.
Well, everybody, 8,400 birds.
8,400 birds.
In the old days, they used to have 4,400, but they had 10 million. Now we're flying against 8,400 birds.
Beautiful pigeon coops. Nice to see the house on this side of the road. It's massive. A massive house on this side of the road over here. We're gonna have to flip back and show you guys both sides of this street. We gotta be careful if it starts to rain because we left that one outside charging. Doesn't look like it's gonna rain though, right? It is. I don't know if the charger's not waterproof, but the batteries is, because that property there's a little one there. I'm gonna drive on the other side. I want to show you guys the houses on the other side of the road here. There are some monstrously large houses here. Look at this one. Beautiful pigeon coops out back. I mean, these properties are just beautiful, spectacular. Don't believe that garbage people are trying to tell you on the internet, guys. Anybody, it doesn't matter if they have a big name or not. Anybody can write anything. Anybody can. People think that what they read on the news, when people read on the news and what they see on TV, they take it so seriously. Well, I heard it on Fox, or I heard it on CNN, or those are people just like me and you. They're not, you know, they're not superhumans. They're not I don't know what the phrase would be. They're not, these people are just like me and you. They can say something, they can say some wrong information just like me and you.
I could literally go get a business card saying I'm your grandmother.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
You know? The same thing goes for realtors. Somebody told me, like, I just pulled into this driveway. I've had 3 people on my channel mention that their realtors told them that in Florida, if you pull into somebody's driveway, the homeowner can shoot you. 3 people, there's realtors out there that are telling people that if somebody pulls in your driveway, you can shoot them. That is so wrong. And they come on my channel and they say, Jose, you need to be careful turning. This is misinformation. Hey, this is misinformation that people publish. People have been publishing that if you pull into somebody's driveway in Florida, the homeowner can shoot you. That is so wrong on so many levels. Yet that information has spread so much that I have people that comment on my channel, Jose, we're concerned for your safety because you're pulling into people's driveways. And I don't know where they're getting this information from, but enough people are getting this misinformation to where people believe it, and then they start to make comments like that. But anyways, I hope Shady Hills, it's a shady place. It's a shady place, but it's not that shady, guys. It doesn't belong on that list, to be honest.
The shade comes from trees, not people.
Yeah, and there are some rougher spots towards, you know, the back of the neighborhood. You know? But overall, look at this place, guys. Brand new pigeon lofts. This one's got 3 right there. Look at them. 3 beautiful pigeon lofts. Beautiful house. Looks like it's brand new. The grass looks new, so that's a brand new house with 3 beautiful pigeon lofts in the back. the people that live here that have these pigeons, that's a full-time hobby. They don't have time to mess around with anything. Look at this. This is one I was telling you. Look how big this house is, guys. Beautiful large home. Pigeon lofts in the back. But yeah, there's a lot of misinformation on the internet. And on my list, I always mention on my list that it's my opinion. All of my lists are my personal opinions. You ask the next person, and they're gonna have a completely different opinion. For example, we just did a drive around of Orlando, the Pine Hills neighborhood. Everybody told me on the internet, this is the worst place in all of Florida. We went there, and honestly, where I was at here today in Brooksville, and the hoods in Brooksville to me seem a lot worse than those. So it's all about your personal opinion. Everybody's gonna have personal opinions that are gonna vary. So every online list is gonna be different. It's just my opinion. That's all these online lists are. 2 o'clock, we gotta head back over there. If you want a really quiet place to retire, now I'm not going to omit this detail. Last time we were here in this neighborhood, no, the time before, so 2 trips ago when we were here in this neighborhood, there was a guy in the middle of the road covered in tattoos, no shirt, swinging at passing cars trying to hit him. So could it have been an odd event? Look at this guy, he's got some amazing pigeon coops back there, beautiful. Could it have been a one-time deal where this guy just happened to be in the middle of the road swinging at cars? It could have been. But I'm not going to omit that I did see that here in this neighborhood. And it doesn't surprise me because the drug problem here in Florida is everywhere. So even areas that look nice are going to have problems of sorts due to all these unfortunate plagues that are upon the human race at this time. Drugs being the foremost of them, affecting the way people live. So, Shady Hills, Florida. The housing is very affordable here. If you want bang for your buck, I think one of our subscribers said that the houses here were in the 200s, so you can get a massive, I mean, the house you can get for your money here is incredible. And a lot of times when people look for bang for buck, they're not the high income earners. Just because people have high incomes, that doesn't exactly mean that that they're wealthy. So being, you know, a lot of neighborhoods will have a lot of high income earners. Those are the working class people that have 2 new cars on their driveway and a rental mortgage, so they have to make $100,000 a year even though they're broke. Okay, those are your high income earners. These are retired people looking for bang for their buck, which means they have money and they're trying to stretch it as far as they can. That's why this area is attractive to people with that mindset, because the house you get for what you get for your buck here, you get really good deal for your money here. lot of bang for your buck out here. A lot of these houses are older, and you couldn't make them for less than they're worth, so you don't see too much new construction. You get bang for your buck out here. I mean, you're talking, the deal you'll get on a house out here is incredible. And people who have the bang for a buck mentality are not always the highest income earners. They're not looking at how they're gonna make more money. They're looking at, how do I stretch my money? See that little trailer? That's a pigeon training trailer, so they put the crates inside of that. A lot of people are having their septics replaced out here. This house having it done here as well. Wow. Getting a new drain field put in. That costs a pretty penny to do. So there are not too many high income earners out here. These are retired people that are trying to stretch their money as long as they can, as far as they can, so they can live comfortably, have a nice house, you know. But this house right here in Naples, probably with the size of that lot, close to $1 million. Out here, it's probably not even half that. And you know what's funny? That these towns that end up on these top 10 lists, a lot of times these are the towns that in the long run the biggest profits are made, because they get a bad fame and then the real estate goes down. Smart people go in there, buy that real estate, flip it, and that's where the biggest profits are made. So if you want to make a big profit in real estate, you got to really change the way you think. I could have bought a house out here in the Spring Hill area, and I decided to stay in Naples. Stupidest thing I did in my whole life. The dumbest thing I did in my life was not buying a house out here when I could have afforded it. I had the opportunity to buy a house up here. By now, this is an older house right here. I could have bought an older house. I could have painted it myself. I could have done the roof when I had the money. I could have little by little had a property like this today. So big mistakes are made in real estate when you are prejudiced or misinformed. You have to have an open mind when it comes to real estate. If you're going to invest in the real estate and you're buying real estate and you're looking at appreciation investment, you have got to be open-minded. Look at this house here, guys. Who wouldn't want to live in a house like that? Look at the size of that property. I'm not sure what's going on in their front yard.
Como estoy?
These are beautiful places, guys. Beautiful homes, beautiful properties. And I know the people that live here. A lot of people that live here. I know them and I've met them a lot. Shook hands with them. They're beautiful, good people who worked very hard in New York and New Jersey and Wisconsin and Miami to save money, to come here to live a very nice lifestyle. They worked very hard. Good people. And I hope that these magazines that are making these lists think twice before they publish information that's clearly wrong. gonna try to cook for us or something. Tell him no water and that's it. He's just start cooking for us. In fact, my friend that I'm gonna visit, I'm waiting for a friend that lives out here. And I have to tell him, no, don't start cooking for us because we're on the road. They're gonna try to start cooking for us and no food. The hospitality of the people here is amazing. Beautiful area. And it's one of the worst places to live in the country. This is one of the 50. If this is one of the 50 worst places to live in the country, come on, guys. So the final test for any neighborhood is the bathroom at a gas station test. Shady Hills failed that one. I'm honest. I'm going to tell you the good. I'm going to tell you the bad. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Not a realtor trying to sell you a house here in Shady Hills. Just going to keep it real. Show you guys what I saw in the bathroom. It is Shady Hills, but we're really south, really far south. We're
close to Hudson.
Yeah, we're still in Shady Hills, but the gas station here, let me show you guys the photos of what the gas station looks like. The wall of the bathroom, you can see those holes right there, and the doorknob. There are some rougher spots in Shady Hills. It's not all the nice. My friends live on the nice side of Shady Hills. There are some rougher spots. To be honest, there are some rougher spots here in Shady Hills. You know? What's going on in that bathroom is that people who inject, I don't know how drug use works because I've never done drugs, but basically people who inject drugs will go into the bathroom and they'll put a hole in the drywall, and then they'll stuff toilet paper inside that hole, and they use that to clean their needles as they're injecting drugs. So if you're buying a house somewhere in a neighborhood and you want to know if there's a lot of drug use, go to the bathroom in a gas station, and there was 2 signs of this gas station that were not good. The first sign was that there were 4 holes, which means they'll puncture a hole in the drywall. They puncture a hole in the drywall, they stuff toilet paper in it, and then they use that to clean their syringes as they're using drugs. So those 4 holes in that bathroom would indicate to me that people have been injecting, I believe it's heroin, or injecting some other type of drug in the bathroom. Also, the bathroom door had no lock, so when I walked into the bathroom, the door was not locked and somebody was using the bathroom. So what that indicates to me also is that apparently the gas station is not able to let a customer lock themselves in, because they'll lock themselves in, shoot up drugs, and then fall asleep in the bathroom. There are some rougher spots of Shady Hills. These are the rougher spots back here, these trailer parks back here. If your sensibilities to poverty are low, this may be a rough area. See, there's abandoned houses and stuff over here. But that's not to reflect the entire community. Down this way, it's a little bit rougher. You know, there's mobile home parks, mobile homes. There's just lots of abandoned businesses. But this is not the core of the neighborhood. This is more on the outskirts of Shady Hills.
This is like a mile away from the nice stuff.
Yeah.
So if you live in a small town up north and there's a bad part of town,
yeah,
it's just like that. If you want to live in the nice part of town, you can. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. So this area pushing from Shady Hill to Hudson, it gets bad out here. I'm not gonna deceive you. There are some bad stuff out here, and but again, there's also really nice properties, and nobody's gonna invest like that right there. That just the fence alone. But there are some rougher spots in this area. If you look for rougher spots, you'll find them. But for the most part, the central part of Shady Hills is nice. When you push back into Hudson and these areas over here, south of Shady Hills, it really does kind of deteriorate a little. But still, it's not an area where if you lived here, you could go to Tampa for work. You're not too far from Tampa. You're not too far from Spring Hill. So it's not a completely, look at that house.
It's nice.
Big houses, you know. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. That's just my opinion. I will say that the gas station was very rough. And, you know, you look at the people at the gas station, they're working class. You're a regular poor working person, so they're not billionaires out here. There's some retired people that have very nice properties. If you like the country lifestyle, this may be for you. To each their own, I guess. I personally don't think it belongs on that list, even with all of its shady parts. You know what I mean? Yeah, nice, you know, and the thing about, you know, this isn't just a Florida thing. Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, the whole Nebraska, Oklahoma, the whole entire country
It's going through a drug epidemic.
is going through a drug epidemic, and it's hitting the rural areas harder than the urban places. So these are some pretty more backwoods type of places out here.
Even Minnesota, there's places where you can't leave your house because the meth heads will come in.
Yeah, it's happening all over rural America, which is sad because, you know, the notion that only urban areas have crime and only the cities are bad, that doesn't exist anymore today. In today's world, there's bad places even in areas where you wouldn't expect it, you know. But then these rural places, they kind of lend themselves fairly well to that type of thing, you know. Very isolated areas like this, you know, off the beaten path, they kind of lend themselves for illicit activity. All right, guys, we're on the corner of, where are we, Katie? What is it?
Hayes and Harmon.
Hayes and Harmon in rural Pasco County, between Spring Hill and Tampa. Let's take a ride for some country roads. Country suburbs.